Hi again, everyone. I'm Ollie Matthews. This is the Narcissistic Resistance, and this resistance video is sponsored by contribution from Kay, and here's her story. Hi, Ollie. I've been watching your channel for more than a year and always wanted to contribute, but every time I tried to write, my mind would go numb and empty. I realized that it's really hard for me to talk about the abuse I suffered through the hands of my narc father and his wife. I'm sure it is for everyone, too. I feel, though, that I should talk about it. Maybe doing this will help me move on and be more healthy mentally. My stepmother started dating my dad when I was 11. She was diagnosed with manic depressive at the time and had just left the hospital. Why would your father, with an 11-year-old daughter, start trifling around with a manic depressive? I hope I find out what happened with your mother here, but he's got an 11-year-old daughter, and he's bringing a knowingly bringing a manic depressive. Fucking Captain Save-A-H0. Fucking Captain Save-A-H0. Her 2-year-old daughter was in foster care and would be with her on weekends. So he's going to bring a woman into his life with an 11-year-old daughter who can't even keep custody of her own child. She moved in when I was 12 or 13. Instantly, she started to treat me like a rival. Gee, you think? She is extremely jealous and would be very angry if my dad gave me attention, or any woman for that matter. Well, go figure. She's a fucking manic depressive who's not allowed to have custody of her own child. You don't bring a woman like this around your child. Go take her back to your Save-A-H0 fortress of solitude. But Captain Save-A-H0 is also a predator, because Captain Save-A-H0 is flying in to scoop up a vulnerable woman, to scoop up somebody he feels he can control. Captain Save-A-H0 is just another narcissistic predator looking for the weak. To bring a manic depressive around and move her in at the age of 12 or 13. It makes me sick to think she considered me one of my dad's girlfriends. I just want to vomit every time I think about it. Some of the things she said and did were the following. She told me it was my fault that my dad and her didn't have sex. Apparently, I didn't go to bed early enough, and that's why my father didn't want to have sex with her. It horrified me beyond belief. The last thing I wanted to hear about was her and my dad having or not sex. So he was just looking for a servant at this point, because if he's not even having sex with her, I mean, you shouldn't know this at that age anyway. Then what the hell is he bringing in a manic depressive for, if it's not even for the sex? For the servitude? For what? And not that sex is an excuse, but you figure in his narcissistic predator brain that must be what it's about, but obviously not even that. She told me that the seat I used to sit at the kitchen table was for my father's wife, and that it should be her seat. The table was rectangular, and so my father sat on the right edge. I sat at his left, my stepsister sat at his right, and she sat facing him. She wanted my seat. I asked her why not sit on the other side if she wanted to sit next to my father. She told me that my seat was the seat for the wife. So I guess she thought I was his wife. She just sees every woman as competition. She told me that I knew about my father going to strip clubs and never told her. I was 11 years old and didn't even know what job my dad did, let alone where he spent his time at night. He would always say, "It's none of my fucking business." He said that a lot, so I learned to never ask questions. She kept telling me I didn't like her, and that's why I never told her about the strip clubs and the cheating. Well, what's the like about a manic depressive who sees you, who's treating you as competition for her father? It didn't matter what I did or try to prove her otherwise. She always came back with that, or that I knew he watched porn. I didn't. And you know what? I didn't want to know that at all. Because she sees you as competition. So she's figured if he's not fucking her, he must be fucking... Why? She would wake me up at all hours of the night to talk. She would also wake me up at 2 a.m. to do the dishes or the cleaning. She'd get angry if I didn't, and would threaten that she would tell my dad, who worked nights. She would order me to take care of her toddler. She would tell me to bathe her, feed her, put her to sleep. And then one day she sat me down and told me that if I continued taking care of her, the toddler would think I'm her mother. I told her she should take care of her daughter and not send me to do it all the time. She would send her daughter to me in the morning and would wake up until at least noon, and wouldn't wake up till at least noon. I had to feed her, help her put her clothes on, and basically do what a mother is supposed to do. So there's no wonder why she didn't have custody of her daughter until your father came along. Why would your father bring her into this mess, unless it was just so someone was there to, I guess, technically watch you so he can go to strip clubs and do whatever he's doing? Where's your mother? What you never say? You haven't talked to. Maybe we'll find out. She wouldn't listen. She would listen to my phone conversations and forbid me to talk to my own mother. Okay, so your mother is still alive. You're just not living with her. She said I should just say everything is good and hang up. She accused me of trying to match my mom with my dad. My parents were separated. Okay, my parents were separated since I was 3 years old, and my mom hated my father. I would never try to put them together. I tried to explain that to my stepmom, but she said I was lying. She would read my diary and then complain about what she read in it. She also told me if only my mom was dead, she could adopt me. Well, I would ask why you're even living with your mother. And it's odd for an 11-year-old to be in full custody with the father. Especially in this situation where the father's running out, unless your mother rejected you and didn't want you and was the one who ran off. And if that's the case, that really makes more sense on why your father put his Captain Save-A-H0 cape on for a replacement. When I was 12, I went to psychological programs because I thought something was wrong with me. I was depressive and suicidal and being blamed for everything that went wrong in the house. He brought a fucking manic depressive in the house. And then he's wondering why, and then people are wondering why you start when you were 12. He starts dating her when you're 11. He brought her in at 12. No wonder... brings a manic depressive who didn't have custody of her own children in to live with her 12-year-old daughter, and then who was his 12-year-old daughter, and then you start having psychological problems. I was depressive and suicidal and was being blamed for everything that went wrong in the house. I reached out to the hospital and was able to go to programs. So finally, when I was 14, I went to live with my schizophrenic mother. Okay, well, so your father likes the fucking crazy. So your father likes to try and fucking cure crazy. That's Captain Save-A-H0, because Captain Save-A-H0 is a predator looking for somebody weaker that he can control. And some dudes just like to scoop up the crazy. Like my father, because you can hide behind it. You could be a good guy. I'm sure people thought your father was a great guy, being a single dad, raising this little girl with this schizophrenic mother, right? So finally, when I was 14, I went to live with my schizophrenic mother, narc grandmother, and golden child uncle. To be honest, at the time, it was a better solution because I was not deadly afraid of them like I was with my dad. I know I haven't talked about my dad much yet. I just can't seem to do it. You don't need to. I know everything I need to know about your father at this point. When I turned 16, I was in school therapy. My mom went to the hospital for a psychosis, and I was left with my narc grandmother and golden child uncle, who ended up threatening to kill me. I ended up in foster care after that. Anyways, after I left at 14, my stepsister, who was 5 at the time, tried to run away. Stepmom blamed it on me. Every time stepsister messed up, it was my fault. My bad influence, even if I wasn't there and no contact with them for long periods of time. I went no contact in the beginning, but social workers kept trying to get me to visit my father. So it was sort of a yo-yo kind of way, alternating between no contact and low contact. And then I wanted to be there for my stepsister. So I stayed in their lives until she turned 18, just in case. But like you said in so many videos, I never should have done that. She turned on me the minute I was no use to her, all because my father can afford to give her expensive gifts like a brand new $800 HD TV. I obviously can't. I don't blame her though. I know she's messed up, maybe worse than I am. I was, however, able to make a clean break from them almost 2 years ago. And that's kind of how I look at it with Aaron. You know, with my daughter, they've bought her off. They buy her cell phones and computers and hoverboards and every fucking thing she wants. And I'm sure she'll have a brand new car right off the showroom when she turns 17. Sure, without my mother around the stop, absolutely. Absolutely. My daughter will have a car before I do, again. The last straw was another fight with the stepmother about how I helped my dad cheat and go to strip clubs, how I never liked her. You're arguing with crazy. You're arguing with certified crazy, with manic depressive, hospitalized crazy. And the reason you're arguing with it is because your father married crazy in the first place in your mother. Because your father's Captain fucking Save-A-H0. And Captain Save-A-H0 is going to introduce you to nothing but crazy. And if you try to deal with crazy as if it is legitimate, you will make yourself crazy in the process. There's no arguing with this. There's no reasoning with this. It's crazy. Manic depressive, she can't even control it. Now, you know how much I love to shit on people on this channel, saying they're narcissistic, they're calculating. Manic depressive is a chemical reaction. It's a chemical imbalance. It's something that can't be controlled. You can't even really blame your stepmother because she's legitimately psychologically damaged. As your mother, being schizophrenic, is legitimately psychologically damaged. And you're trying to deal with crazy people and reason with crazy people as if they're not crazy. Why? Because your father, Captain Save-A-H0, has normalized all of this in your life. The last straw was another fight with the stepmother about how I helped my dad cheat and go to strip clubs, how I never liked her, how I am weird because I am single and have been for a long time. Don't you like boys, she asked me. I wanted to say I do, but unlike you, I don't need to throw myself at the first comer and stay with someone I don't like and abuses me. I didn't say it. I told her that I had enough. I don't accept this abuse, and I literally got out of the car and went home by subway and bus. The look on her face was priceless because she didn't expect me to actually leave the premises. I've had enough. So now I'm 36, and it's been almost 2 years. I've been no contact with my narc dad and stepmother. I've learned that stepmom is borderline disorder, schizoaffective disorder with a hint of autism. I think that explains a lot. She still blames me for everything that happened in her life. That's what made me go no contact permanently. I have to say that since I went no contact, I've been doing a bit better. You always will. I still have a hard time looking back without dissociating. I have been diagnosed with depression, social phobias, and generalized anxiety disorder. I've been through, I have a feeling, though, I have CPTSD. I get lots of flashbacks and nightmares, not just from stepmom, but from the abuse my narc dad did as well. I will save that for maybe another letter. Thank you so much for what you do. Sometimes it's really hard to listen to others' stories because I can relate so much and I can feel the pain oozing through the words. It breaks my heart that so many have been abused. I always want to hug the screen because if I could, I would hug every survivor I hear on your channel. Hugs were never a thing in my family, so I feel kind of weird saying that, but it's really how I feel. Again, thank you so much for all the good work, and please continue. You've helped me a lot, and I'm certain you've helped many others. Sincerely, KJC. You have to understand, okay? You have to understand. Your father was Captain Save-A-H0. And what he did was he normalized crazy in your life, to the point where you're trying to argue and rationalize, and you're talking to people who are legitimately crazy. Now, your mother has a touch of borderline. You said the schizophrenia is, listen, there's nothing she can do about that. She probably does have maybe some borderline thrown in on top of it. Who knows? Either way, it's toxic. You can't handle it. You can't handle it. Stay no contact. The longer you stay no contact, after 2 years now, I mean, you're seeing things more and more clear. I don't need you gave me all the information I basically need on your father. Your father likes the crazy because he thinks he can control it. And he comes in as Captain Save-A-H0 to save the crazy. What man in his right mind is going to introduce a manic depressive to a 12-year-old girl? What do you think's going to happen? So, understand what you were arguing with, and understand that it was your father's doing for whatever motivation, because he feels he can control it so he can keep the crazy at home. That gives him the pity supply. Poor your dad with this crazy schizophrenic wife and now this manic depressive. Oh, poor him. So then he gets all the pity points to go out to strip clubs and do whatever, and nobody even questions it. Captain Save-A-H0 is just another narcissistic predator, and that's who your father was. So, I hope that helps. Thank you so much for your contribution, Kay, and your story. I really appreciate it. Thank you to everybody watching. Please leave any opinions or advice in the comment section below. And again, if you want your story read on the channel, you have a topic you'd like me to cover, a narcissist you'd like to expose, you'd like to set up Skype, a phone call, have a private video made, or a Facebook live chat, or you'd like to sponsor a video like this for someone who needs help and can't afford it, or just make a contribution to the channel in general to keep it supported, growing, and successful, because this channel survives 100% on contributions from all of you. Without you guys, all this goes away. So if you like what you see here and you want to see more videos like this, you know what to do with the PayPal and email links in the description box. Also, please like and share this video wherever you can. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and be sure to click the subscription bell to be notified of all my video uploads. I'm Ollie Matthews. This has been the Narcissistic Resistance. Take care.